Welcome to MyLittlePM, where we make project management simple. What is project management really? A lot of people hear the words project management and immediately think of corporate offices, complicated software, endless meetings, and people using terminology that makes everything sound harder than it needs to be. But the truth is, project management is much more practical and much more human than that. At its core, project management is simply about helping work move from an idea to a result in a structured, organized way. So in this video, we are going to strip away the jargon, simplify the concept, and help you understand what project management actually is, what project managers really do, and how you can start building the right skills for yourself. In this video, we are going to walk through the foundations step by step. First, we will look at what project management actually means in simple everyday language. Then, we will talk about what project managers actually do, because many people hear the title but do not really know what sits behind it. After that, we will go through the key skills you need if you want to get started in project management. We will also look at one of the biggest questions beginners ask, which is whether it is possible to become a project manager without previous experience. And finally, we will end with your next steps, so that you leave this video with more clarity, more confidence, and a clearer sense of where to begin. So, what is project management? In the simplest possible terms, project management is about getting things done. It is about taking a piece of work that has a goal, a timeline, and a desired outcome, and making sure it moves from start to finish in the best way possible. That means there is usually something that needs to be achieved, something that needs to be created, improved, launched, delivered, or completed. And project management is the process of organising that work so that it does not become chaotic, delayed, unclear, or wasteful. Whether you are launching a new service, planning an event, building a website, rolling out a system, or even organising something in your personal life, project management is what helps turn intention into action and action into results. Project management includes a few key parts. First, it means defining what needs to be done. You need clarity before action. What is the goal? What are you trying to achieve? What does success actually look like? Second, it means planning the work. Once the goal is clear, the next step is working out how to get there. What tasks need to happen? In what order? Who is responsible? What timeline makes sense? Third, it means leading the team or coordinating the people involved. Even when there is no large formal team, someone still needs to keep people aligned, informed, and moving in the same direction. And finally, it means delivering results. Project management is not just about creating plans and documents. It is about making sure the work actually gets completed and the desired outcome is achieved. So now that we have looked at what project management is, let's talk about what project managers actually do. This is one of the biggest areas of confusion for beginners, because the role can look different depending on the company, the industry, the project, and the size of the team. That is why many people struggle to understand what a project manager really does day to day. But the role becomes much easier to understand when you stop thinking of it as a job title full of jargon and start thinking of it as a responsibility. A project manager is the person helping the work stay structured, focused, and moving. They do not necessarily do every task themselves. Instead, they help make sure the right work is happening at the right time, with the right people, and with the fewest surprises possible. Project managers wear many hats because projects involve many moving parts. They plan projects by breaking big goals down into manageable pieces. They help decide what needs to happen first, what comes next, and how the work should be structured. They manage teams or coordinate people by keeping everyone aligned. That does not always mean formal authority. Sometimes it simply means making sure people know what they are doing, why it matters, and what comes next. They identify and manage risks, which means thinking ahead. What could go wrong? What might cause delays, confusion, extra cost, or poor results? And what can be done early to reduce those problems? They also communicate with stakeholders. That could mean leaders, clients, team members, suppliers, or anyone else affected by the project. Good communication keeps trust high and confusion low. And finally, they track progress and focus on delivery. They do not just create plans and disappear. They keep checking whether the project is moving forward, whether the work is on track, and whether the final goal is still being achieved. If you want to get started in project management, the good news is that you do not need to know everything at once. You do not need to begin with advanced tools, complex systems, or years of experience. What really matters in the beginning is building the right foundation. Project management is built on a set of practical, transferable skills that can be learned, developed, and strengthened over time. And this is important because many beginners make the mistake of focusing too much on the title and not enough on the actual abilities behind it. But strong project managers are not defined only by certificates, job titles, or software knowledge. They are defined by how well they can communicate, plan, solve problems, guide people, and manage time and priorities. So before worrying about being perfect, focus on building the core skills that make project management work in the real world. There are a few core skills that matter most when you are getting started. The first is communication. Project management depends heavily on keeping people informed, aligned, and clear about what is happening. If communication is weak, projects become confusing very quickly. The second is planning. Planning helps turn ideas into structure. It helps you know what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and what needs to be prioritized. The third is problem solving. Projects almost never go perfectly from start to finish. Things change, issues appear, and obstacles come up. A good project manager stays calm, thinks clearly, and helps the team move forward. The fourth is leadership. Leadership in project management is not always about being the boss. It is often about creating direction, encouraging action, and helping people stay focused on the goal. And the fifth is time management. Projects run on time, deadlines, priorities, and momentum. Being able to manage time well helps keep everything moving in a realistic and organised way. When you start developing these core skills, project management begins to feel much more approachable and much less intimidating. One of the biggest questions people ask is this: how do I become a project manager without experience? And it is a fair question, because so many people feel stuck in that frustrating space where they are interested in project management, but they assume they cannot move forward until someone gives them a formal opportunity first. But the truth is, becoming a project manager does not always begin with the title. It often begins with the skills, the mindset, and the ability to show that you can organise work, coordinate people, solve problems, and help move things forward. That means you do not have to wait until everything is perfect. You do not have to wait until you feel fully qualified. And you do not need years of formal project management experience before you can begin building your path. At MyLittlePM, we believe the real starting point is understanding the basics, building practical ability, and learning how to recognise the project management experience you may already have in your life or current role. The good news is that you can start today, and you can start in a way that feels realistic and manageable. The first step is to learn the basics. That means understanding what project management is, how projects work, what common terms mean, and what the role of a project manager actually involves. Clarity matters because confidence grows when things start making sense. The second step is to build practical skills. Focus on communication, planning, organisation, time management, and problem solving. These are the real foundations. They matter far more than trying to sound impressive with complicated terminology. The third step is certification, if that makes sense for your journey. Certification can be useful, but it is optional at the very beginning. It can help you structure your learning and strengthen your credibility, but it is not the only path. The fourth step is gaining hands-on experience, even if it seems small. A lot of people overlook this part because they think experience only counts if it came from an official project manager job title. That is not true. Small projects still matter. And finally, keep networking and keep growing. Learning project management is not just about collecting information. It is about building momentum, staying curious, and continuing to grow your confidence over time. So where do you actually get experience if no one has officially hired you as a project manager yet? There are more opportunities than people often realise. You can volunteer for projects. That might mean helping with events, community initiatives, internal work activities, or business improvements. Any situation where work needs to be organised and coordinated can help you build relevant experience. You can also help in your current role. Many people already do project-based work without noticing it. If you help improve a process, coordinate tasks, manage a deadline, organise an activity, or support a team initiative, you are already developing project management ability. You can take on personal projects too. Planning something meaningful from start to finish teaches you a lot. That could be launching a small idea, organising a major life event, building something for your portfolio, or creating your own structured challenge. And then there are freelance, internship, or entry-level opportunities. These may not always have the perfect title, but they can still help you build relevant experience. The key is to stop thinking only in terms of titles and start thinking in terms of transferable evidence. So what should you do next from here? Your next steps do not need to be dramatic. They just need to be intentional. Start by choosing one area to focus on first. Maybe that is understanding project management basics. Maybe it is improving your planning skills. Maybe it is learning how to communicate more clearly or manage your time better. Then, look for opportunities to practice. Not someday, not when you feel completely ready, but now, in small ways. You do not need to transform your whole life overnight. You simply need to begin taking small, consistent steps that help you move closer to the kind of project professional you want to become. The biggest mistake many beginners make is assuming they have to do everything at once. You do not. You just need a starting point and the willingness to keep moving. Start small and start now. This matters because progress in project management, just like progress in most things, is built through consistency. Not perfection, not knowing everything, not waiting for the perfect time. Be consistent. Even small learning efforts add up when you keep showing up. A little clarity today becomes more confidence tomorrow. Keep learning. The more you expose yourself to the language, logic, and rhythm of project work, the more natural it begins to feel. What once seemed intimidating starts to feel familiar. And most importantly, take action. Knowledge becomes much more powerful when you apply it. When you practice planning, organizing, prioritizing, and solving real problems, the learning becomes real. Your journey does not begin when you magically feel ready. It begins when you decide to move. And this is something really important to remember. Project management is not just a career. It is a skill for life. Yes, it can absolutely become a profession. Yes, it can open doors in your career. Yes, it can help you move into new roles and opportunities. But even beyond that, project management is a practical life skill. It helps you think clearly, organize work, manage priorities, communicate better, and bring structure to things that might otherwise feel overwhelming. That means when you learn project management, you are not only learning something useful for a job title, you are learning a way of thinking and working that can benefit you in everyday life too. And that is part of what makes it so valuable. It is not just about becoming a project manager. It is about becoming someone who can move ideas into action more effectively. So if you have been wondering whether this path is for you, whether you are capable of learning it, or whether you are starting too late, here is what I want you to remember. You've got this. You do not need to know everything today. You do not need to be perfect. And you do not need to have every answer before you begin. You just need to keep learning, keep growing, and keep leading in the ways available to you right now. Leadership starts long before the title does. Growth starts long before the perfect opportunity appears. And confidence grows through action, not waiting. So keep going. You are building more than knowledge. You are building capability. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped make project management feel clearer, simpler, or more approachable, then you are already moving in the right direction. If you found this useful, like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to MyLittlePM for more simple, practical project management content. And if you are just getting started, remember this. You do not have to figure it all out at once. Start with the basics, keep learning, and keep building one step at a time. I'll see you in the next video.